Beijing is quietly reshaping the balance of air power in Asia, just as the United States struggles to sustain its long war effort against Iran. China's J-16 fighter jet is emerging as one of Xi Jinping's key assets, potentially capable of crippling America's defenses. With up to 12 air-to-air missiles on a single fighter, some analysts warn that America could start a Taiwan war at a disadvantage. Xi's Air Force appears to be targeting support aircraft as priority kill targets, raising fears that a single J-16 salvo could wipe out the US military's aerial lifelines. China's long-range PL-15 missile could potentially turn Western aircraft into easy target practice far from the front line. All of this raises the question of whether Xi's military is edging closer to being ready for a showdown over Taiwan. Newly surfaced images show a Chinese J-16 fighter jet in a striking new configuration, revealing how heavily it can be armed for air-to-air combat. The picture shows a J-16 loaded with 8 PL-15 beyond visual range missiles and 2 PL-10 short-range missiles, giving it a total of 10 air-to-air weapons at once. According to defense observers, the image likely originated from China's aviation watching community, which frequently shares photos of new configurations online. This arrangement represents some of the heaviest air-to-air armament ever publicly observed on a Chinese fighter, showcasing just how many missiles the J-16 can haul into battle. So far, the PLA Air Force has issued no official statement confirming or denying the configuration, keeping an air of ambiguity around the leak. Defense analysts say the image is likely genuine, noting that there have been no strong denials from major international intelligence or monitoring groups. Importantly, the J-16 in the photo carries no external fuel tanks, ground attack weapons, or extra pods, indicating a pure air-to-air mission profile. Such a loadout creates an operational profile optimized to maximize missile density, turning the jet into what some call a missile truck for air superiority. The J-16 possesses 12 external weapon stations, a capacity rarely seen on stealth fighters, allowing it to carry a large number of missiles at the cost of radar signature. In concept, the J-16 is similar to America's F-15EX, which can also carry up to 12 air-to-air missiles, but the two play very different roles in their respective strategies. Analysts argue China's approach could have greater strategic impact because of its fast production rates and its geographic advantage close to the main Indo Pacific flashpoints. Reports suggest China may already field around 400 J-16s, making them one of the most important workhorses in Beijing's aerial inventory. Armed with PL-15 missiles, these jets could be extremely useful for Beijing in any future Indo-Pacific conflict, especially when it comes to controlling the airspace at long range. Combined with China's broader anti-access and area denial strategy, such aircraft allow Beijing to extend its operational influence far beyond its immediate coastline. The PL-15 itself is estimated to have a range of roughly 180 to 300 kilometers, depending on launch conditions and target profile. With this kind of reach, the missile can threaten high-value support aircraft, tankers, surveillance planes, and early warning platforms that normally operate well behind the front. If those support aircraft are driven back or shot down, it can sharply reduce how long US and Allied fighters can stay in the fight, weakening their staying power in a long war. Beyond air dominance, China could bring its J-35 stealth fighter into play against maritime defenses, giving it a dedicated tool for striking ships and naval formations. China's fifth-generation Shenyang J-35 stealth fighter is believed to be capable of carrying up to 4 anti-ship missiles, giving each jet the firepower to threaten an entire surface group. If the J-35 is eventually deployed with the YJ-15 supersonic anti-ship missile, analysts argue it could significantly alter naval warfare by pushing Chinese strike range far beyond current expectations. The YJ-15 loadout would transform the J-35 from a conventional carrier-based fighter into a true long-range maritime strike platform able to launch standoff attacks from deep within China's own air cover. In that configuration, the J-35 would be capable of hitting US carrier strike groups while remaining in stealth mode, shrinking the reaction time for American defenses to just seconds. Additionally, reports suggest such missiles could be used in island seizure operations, supporting blockade enforcement and rapid strikes against logistical hubs and amphibious forces. The J-15 is an air-launched supersonic anti-ship cruise missile, designed to be fired from fighter aircraft at high speed against enemy warships. Its primary role is as a carrier killer and fleet attack weapon for planned tactical aircraft like the J-15 and J-16, giving them a powerful punch against surface fleets. The missile's estimated range is up to around 500 kilometers against surface ships, allowing launches from well beyond the reach of many ship-based air defenses. In the terminal phase, the J-15 is believed to reach penetration speeds of roughly Mach 4 to Mach 5, making interception extremely challenging. It is thought to be a smaller, more refined derivative of the J-12, featuring a 4-inlet, axisymmetric layout optimized for sustained high-speed flight. Guidance is expected to combine satellite navigation with active radar and infrared imaging, allowing high-precision terminal homing on moving naval targets. The missile likely has a strong anti-jamming design and can perform terminal maneuvers to evade shipboard air defenses and close-in weapon systems. Current reporting suggests it can be carried by carrier-based J-15s, land-based J-16s, and in future, potentially adapted for launch from modern planned surface combatants. Its primary targets are large surface combatants and other high-value naval assets at long standoff ranges, such as carriers, cruisers, and major logistics ships. Notably, the Chinese Navy has not yet publicly confirmed that the J-35 will carry the J-15, so for now this remains an informed but unverified possibility. China's answer to America's stealth F-35 fighter jet has reportedly received a major combat-oriented upgrade for future battlefield scenarios. Reports claim that China's fifth-generation J-35 stealth fighter has now been configured to carry a new missile loadout. 4 long-range PL-15 air-to-air missiles have reportedly been mounted beneath the wings of the upgraded J-35 fighter aircraft. The modification reportedly increases the J-35's total missile capacity to 6, significantly boosting its overall combat firepower. Unlike traditional stealth configurations, the new missiles are externally mounted on the Chinese fighter jet in a rare modification. China is increasingly positioning the J-35 stealth fighter as a direct counter to America's advanced F-35 combat aircraft. If this capability becomes real, the operational safe zone for U.S. surface forces in a Taiwan conflict would be pushed much further east, away from the island itself. Layered Chinese missile support from land, sea and air would sharply increase the cost and risk of close-in presence missions for the U.S. Navy near Taiwan and the mainland coast. China's advances could force Washington into accelerated investment in both defensive and offensive hypersonic systems, just to keep pace with the evolving threat. These latest military developments come as China and Taiwan engage in a tense standoff at sea, making the J-16S and J-35S capabilities even more relevant to a potential crisis. A Chinese Coast Guard ship was involved in a tense standoff with Taiwanese vessels, bringing rival ships from both sides face-to-face near disputed waters. According to Taiwan's Coast Guard, the Chinese vessel only left waters near the Pratas Islands after an extended round of verbal sparring over the radio. Taiwan says it first spotted the Chinese ship heading directly towards the Pratas on May 23, triggering immediate concern in Taipei. Taipei then dispatched one of its own Coast Guard ships to the area, broadcasting warnings over loudspeaker and radio for the Chinese vessel to leave, according to reports. The two sides soon became locked in a heated argument over sovereignty via radio, each insisting the waters around the islands belonged to them. China's crew stated over the radio that they were on a routine mission and that Beijing has jurisdiction over the Pratas, language that Taiwan found especially provocative. Taiwanese officials later said China's choice of words on jurisdiction, as well as the length of time the ship lingered near the islands, were both unusual and worrying. The Chinese ship eventually turned away and began sailing out of the area in the late afternoon on May 24, easing immediate tensions but not the underlying fears. Separately, Taiwan's Coast Guard says it also drove away a Chinese research vessel for the second time this month, underscoring how frequent such encounters have become. On May 24, Taiwan security chief revealed that around 100 Chinese ships were operating inside the so-called First Island chain, a belt of sea stretching along East Asia's front line. The first island chain is a strategic arc that runs from Japan, through Taiwan and down to the Philippines, seen by Beijing and Washington as a key military boundary. The Pratas Island itself lies roughly between southern Taiwan and Hong Kong, making it a small but important outpost in contested waters. Because Pratas is about 400 kilometers from Taiwan's main island, it is relatively isolated and considered highly vulnerable to a sudden Chinese move. Adding to those concerns, Pratas is only lightly defended by Taiwan's Coast Guard, rather than by heavy military forces, making it a tempting target in a crisis.